Confucius once said, you could cheat an honest man, but you can't make a fool out of him. Who I like much better, C.S. Lewis said, you can't cheat an honest man. I like C.S. Lewis better. I kind of agree more with Confucius on this because even honest people can get cheated, but just, as he said, not fooled. I want to dig into Jonah. I'm going to use a little bit of film. What I do here is very primal. It's very fundamental and basic. I'm no guru, but I am an honest man. I'm here for you to tell you the truth. And sometimes that means pointing out the ugliness on the football team, the Dolphins team, because in football, it's not what you do well, the shiny bells and whistles. It's what you do wrong that will be attacked with the ferocity of a wild, ravenous predator. And so the team most likely will only go as far as their weaknesses. It's not always hard to trot, but I try to do the right thing by you because as a fan, I was hustled so much and I got tired of it. The loss, the losing was one thing, but the letdown was something else. And I don't ever want to do that to my viewers at any cost, especially not some stupid hits and subscribes. If it means I don't do this thing, that's fine. I wished I was like that in some ways because I'd have a bigger channel. But it's hardwired in me. I had somebody say my last title was clickbait. I don't ever do clickbait. But maybe it was. But I wasn't trying to be clickbait. I said Tua wasn't him because he's not. He's not elite. So I'm sorry if I did that. So I want to get into fundamental flaws, not just in Jonah. But it branches out in all to the deeper levels of this team, starting with Butch Barry. But it's not going to end with him. We were told, in Barry we trust. If Butch Barry was as good as he was billed to be, hyped to be, hopium pimped out to be, what I'm showing you would not be happening. Jonah's got talent. But there are such fundamental flaws. When we drafted him, I didn't study him in college. I went along with what a lot of people are saying, but I did say I was a little concerned about his ability to handle power because he was playing tackle. I watched one game and he constantly blew up, constantly got blown up, and he had his hands on the outside of his shoulders. You could fix that. But I didn't study the film. But I did a film study in the second preseason game, and I was like, what? I thought I saw Elvis marrying a Sasquatch. It was such an unexpected, unbelievable sight to see how bad his technique is. And whatever talents he has, it will never rise to his ability to exert that until he fixes this. There are such fundamental flaws that Butch Barry and the Dolphins scouting department, you want to talk Greer, who I have to say, guys, his father died. Don't be too hard on Greer. That's terrible. I'm not really a big fan of him as a person in the GM position. Certainly not his ability to be a GM. But the guy's father died. So please chill out a little bit that. I'm going to even chill out a little bit for today. But how this wasn't seen, and I didn't watch him in college. I just went back and watched some of his college stuff, and it was there. Somehow, this fundamental flaw, I'm going to show you in film, just got glazed over by a lot of people that covered him. I was looking for the film, and all I saw was, he's going to change the league. He's superstar. How did you miss this? This is like the most basic thing. It really was like staring at the sun. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. Or maybe if I put my eyes on it too long, they were going to burn out. So there's a huge failure. We traded up to get a kid that's had these flaws hardwired into him throughout college, and they haven't changed here. How he was moved with these flaws, how they weren't corrected, and if they couldn't be corrected, how he could be starting, it's another problem that Butch Barry's not that good. I'm sure he's a brilliant man when it comes to football. He's way more knowledgeable than me, and I'm sure he's not terrible, but this is just not stuff that should be happening. You certainly shouldn't trade up the way we did for a huge project. He will not resolve these issues that I'm going to show you, that I've shown you before this season. And it might take a few years if he does, because it is so bad. And that's just his feet. He has other flaws too. So he needs like a Josh Allen rebuild. Josh Allen altered his throwing motion, his growth for the first 2 or 3 years. This is what this kid needs. And if you look at him, look, it's PFF. People don't like PFF. His pass blocking grade is 5 out of 100. That's not good. I don't think that's that good. His run blocking grade is 45. He is the worst offensive lineman on this team. He's given up 11 pressures in 3 games. And 10 of them were in true pass set protection. True pass set protection means you're blocking on your own. You're not getting help. So this is as bad as it can be. It is even worse than Eichenberg. But Eichenberg doesn't have his physical talent. But Eichenberg did have some better technique. So the potential on Jonah is way higher, but you don't know if you're ever going to get to it because it's so bad. And again, it's such an obvious thing that no one really, all the gurus aren't talking about it. And I don't know how they missed it. I watched one game, but this is terrible. And I'll explain it before I go over the film. In football, it's always about getting leverage. And on offense, you've got to have the initiative. That means you act before the other guy. You know where the play's going. You know what the snap count is. And for an offensive lineman, Greg Main, who was a former coach in college and a former player, told me the exact numbers. When you take that first step, you've got to gain ground between 6 to 8 inches. Jonah either puts his foot back in the same spot or sometimes a little bit behind. So he's got to do the giddy up to take his first step. And at that point, it's over. And then when he gets there, his hands are on the outside. He's got weird toe pointing. I'm not going to get into very wide stance. So his whole platform to be a blocker is absolutely disastrous. But until those feet take a few inches forward on his steps to gain ground, nothing else is going to really be substantially better. And again, the hustle. How many people out there were telling you this guy was going to be to the moon? How many of our scouts looked at this film? Coaches, GM, and they traded up for him with this problem. And he even said, I'm still learning to get off on my right foot. But it's not even the right foot. In college, when he played on the right side and he was going to left foot, he did the same thing. I don't know, because I watched some of them on the left and some on the right. I don't know if it's more exasperated on the left. That is something for people who have the all 22 of college need to look into. I don't have it. So let's take a look at this film. See what we see. All right, we're going to open up with the foot. Look at the difference between Keon Smith, where his foot ends, and where Jonah's ends. Same spot for Jonah. Look at that again. Look at Keon's foot, who's no bueno. And look at Jonah's. That's losing. It's inches, but it is losing, guys. Into it. He's trailing behind, head over skis. Gets hit, hands around the shoulders, not inside, and just gets tossed away like a dirty diaper. It's not because the kid's not physically powerful. It's because his technique is bad. Look at this setup. Hands reaching, grabs the air, and then I can go through a lot of stuff, but that's a quick beat. That's as bad as it gets. See here again, the hands misses with the first swat, leaning, feet out of alignment, and he gets the inside out. Now he has to grab there, but that could be a hold. That's not good technique. He's totally losing. because his feet are out of alignment. He's got poor technique on the NFL level. Here we go. Look at this one. Look at his feet. Same spot. Nothing. You're not got to gain ground. And then you can see here, he's got the double, hands on the shoulders, and he's got to practically hold and releases. That's a bad block. Here's the pole. Watch him jump up in the air. It just jumps up in the air and comes back down in the same spots. Has to set to reset. He's sure to be down the line, and because he's not down the line, he's a little late, and then he gets peeled open, he gets split. And look, we could talk about HM, maybe making an inside cut instead of the outside one, but this is about Jonah. And you get the hold. I mean, Borum didn't do his job either, but Jonah's late because of the jump and reset. See, the stutter step here, and watch him on the move. His feet are all over the place. He's not attacking. This is a 100, 200-pound guy. And he's just not attacking him. He's so passive. I think he's so used to pass protection. And this is a good run by Ali. Great run by Ali, but he has no real control of a 200-pound guy. Ain't good. Great run by Ali, though. Real decisive and aggressive. I loved it. See here, feet up and down in the same spot. He's laid along the line, head over skis. Hands on the outside, no interior contact with his hands. You see the hand on the outside there, and he just gets tossed. That's pure Liam Eichenberg-esque. Not comparing the two, but it's all about his technique. Not like Liam with the lack of talent. All right, you could see it's clearly the same. There is a host of things that need to be fixed, but his feet come down in the same spot he started off. And when he's on the move, his shoulders get over the skis. He's got no leverage, and it's kind of like, you ever see the cartoon when a guy runs and the body goes forward and the legs are still going like this, and then they finally catch up? That's what's happening to him. Even on the pole, he jumps up and he doesn't jump up and stays in the same spot. This could end up being one of the worst rookie seasons of a high-priced offensive lineman that we've seen. And it's sad. The guy does have talent. But again, what we've seen over the years, we estimate a guy to be something. We put the burden of expectations on him with the draft status. And then we rush him in because we've got to look, not we, but the people who drafted him, got to look good. And then he struggles. And what's going to happen as his season goes on and on, he's going to lose more confidence. And that's not going to help. That's what happened to Jackson, even Eichenberg. You're supposed to develop technique the right way, and then it facilitates your abilities. But when everything's screwed up and you're just desperate to survive, you develop bad techniques. And then it further sinks you down into the hole, and it gets harder to dig it out. It's a mental game. And so, all the things we've been told over the years by so many different people, the Butch Barry and Butch Barry we trust was total bloviation, total hype job, and it wasn't accurate. But fans, you have to understand that if you give people hype clicks, then they realize that's what it takes to get the clicks. What I do here is not really super click-based because I try to be honest because I don't want fans to get let down. So Jonah will take a miracle to fix this season. And it could continue to spiral out of control. And that's not good for the team. It's not good for the fans. It's not good for him, guys. So I'm sorry to be a bearer of bad news, but you can't have Keon Smith and Brunskill at right guard. I guess we'll get Daniels back at some point. And a left guard playing like this. And then Borum at right tackle. And even if Jackson gets back in here, he sucks. Although people say, I'm sorry, Austin Jackson. Curtis, you're a bad man. You're just a hater. No, I'm honest. And I'm not going to screw you. Jackson stinks. He's overpriced. And we're in trouble with this offensive line. Don't be fooled by the output from the Bills game. I do think we could beat the Jets, but that's not a given either. And it's going to get harder as we go. I think we still can get, 5, 6, maybe 7 wins. But I just don't, what I see here on this offensive line, it could be maybe worse than last year. Unless Daniels comes back, plays superstar status, Jonah totally fixes some things. And then maybe we'll get some wins. But Daniels won't be back for another 3 weeks. I don't think he's going to be here for the Chargers game. And that's a big deal. So, that's the deal. Curtis saying, be well, go Fins. Curtis out. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.